Hey everyone, welcome to my temporary workbench review station, hopefully just temporary. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Citizen Promaster Diver. This is a watch that I avoided for quite a while, despite the fact that it was a very good price point. It had a solar powered quartz movement. You didn't have to change the battery. And I don't know why I avoided it for so long. I finally picked one up in a very rare for me blue. I typically go for black dials. I'm usually not a big fan of blue, but this was a watch I thought I would try something different. And I've been very happy with this watch. It was my first Citizen, and I was very surprised at what I saw. So it it really is a great dive watch, and I would say this is probably one of the better entry level dive watches that you could get into, and I would highly recommend it. So I'll start talking a little bit more about the watch. First of all, it is ISO certified, which at around $200 is pretty impressive. The Seiko SKX now is, what is it now, $350, something like that. And yeah, that does come with an automatic, but you're paying a lot of money for a watch that doesn't hand whine or hack, and it's quite dated in that regard. So this is a very strong competitor with this, even with the Eco Drive quartz movement. It's nice. I haven't set the time on this watch or the date for, well, probably the last 6 or 7 months that I've had it, and that to me has its advantages. You don't have to worry about winding the watch up, nothing like that. So, it the Eco Drive movement is an E168, and yeah, there's not much I can say about it other than it works. This watch has kept very accurate time, and I do believe it's one of the few quartz movements where I've noticed where the minute hand or the seconds hand very accurately hits the second markers, and that's something that is very important to me in a quartz watch. I don't mind quartz movements. I think they're underrated. What's wrong with a battery powered watch? I think sometimes, me included, I get a little too caught up in automatic movements, and yes, they are very impressive, but there's some huge advantages with quartz, and the technology is pretty incredible too, especially with this watch, with the Eco Drive, the fact that it is a solar powered watch, and you really can't tell by looking at it that that's the case, and that's the case with a lot of Citizen Eco Drives. So anyway, enough on the movement. I think we all know quite a bit about Citizen Eco Drive movements. The bezel is a 60 click bezel. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, it doesn't have a 120 click unidirectional diver bezel. But I will be honest, I much prefer the 60 click. It's very accurate. A bug flies around in the background. Don't mind him. But this bezel action, very easy to turn. It's very accurate. It doesn't have a lot of movement. There's not a lot of backplay. That's not the case I found with most entry level and even mid range 120 click bezels, especially with Seiko. They usually still have some backplay in them, and this is very solid. And 120 click, it sounds nice, but really, I don't know when you really need to ever stop on a half second. To be honest, I really like the 60 click unidirectional bezel. I wish they would put that on more watches, because it's a simpler mechanism. It feels much sturdier. It doesn't feel like it's skipping T. Sometimes 120 click bezels don't always feel that great. This one's really nice, and I wish more watches would have that, even if they are at a higher price point. So it does have a mineral uh, crystal. Which isn't surprising at around $200. When I bought this watch about 6 months ago, they were going for around 170. Prices have gone up a little bit. I actually bought this watch used, and it's been fine. I don't mind mineral crystal as much. I've been pretty rough with this watch. It's been submerged. It's been scraped up against metal surfaces, all that, and it's held up very well. There are a few scratches up by the 11 o'clock on the mineral crystal, but to me, yeah, whatever. Adds character and doesn't bother me very much. So, but it is a mineral crystal. However, does have some anti-reflective coating. It doesn't seem like it now looking up at the light, but it does work decently well, and it's better than not having any coating. So, like I said, right now these go for around $200, a little more. I think they're $220 on Amazon. Probably can find them a little cheaper on eBay, maybe. But at that price, I think they're still competitive. I think if they got up much more than what they are now, then there might be some other options out there that might be better suited. But I think at that price point, this is a pretty strong contender. It does have an aluminum bezel insert, pretty common for this price. Very unique looking on the font. Not so much in the display, but a little bit different. And I like that. I don't like the cookie cutter Submariner, copycat bezel design. Which will bring me to some of the pros and cons with this watches. I'll start off with the cons. There are a couple. They're minor, and there's only one that I would say is a big fault, and I would like some feedback on that, and because you never know if with a used watch if somebody's stripped the crown. But that is the crown, the screw down crown, which is signed with the Promaster logo. It doesn't feel very solid in terms of it only took a couple turns and then it was unscrewed, so now I can pull it out. It does have quick set on the date, but it doesn't feel like a very good it feels like there's maybe about 2 threads that it screws into, so you push it, it threads easily, but it only takes a couple turns and it's twisted. And on a dive watch, that's not the most confidence inspired. Now, this watch has been submerged several times and I never had any issues, so for most people it's going to be perfectly fine. But that might be something you might want to watch out for. I highly doubt anyone would have any issues with it, but I would like to hear your comments on that. If that's a common issue, or perhaps the previous owner that I bought it from maybe had some ham-fisted screwing the crown down attempts, because I know some people are not very good at catching the threads. The other con I would say is the Lume. It's not great. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not on Seiko levels. Let me kill the lights really quick and show you what it looks like. It won't be totally dark. And I didn't shine this with a flashlight or anything like that. Now, temporarily, it does shine pretty well. It's a little brighter on camera, as is most Lume shots. There is a Lume on the pip, the bezel, so you can have some orientation. The orientation is very easy. The 12 o'clock indicator is pretty easy to point out, and that the Lume pip on the bezel is also pretty indicative, or a pretty good indicator if you have it centered at the 12 o'clock. It just doesn't last as long. I would say after about an hour or two, it's very dim. You you have to pull the watch up pretty close to your face in order to see it. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, and it's certainly nothing that's too disappointing at the price, but it is something if you're used to coming from a Seiko diver, especially around the 250, the entry level Seiko divers, the Lume's not quite as good. However, I do like the color of the Lume. I like that blue in the Lume. I really like that. So I do like the color of the Lume. Just wish the longevity was a little bit more. But like I said, it's not the end of the world, and at the price point, it's certainly nothing that is too surprising. And it wouldn't keep me from purchasing another variant of this watch. I think I would prefer it in the black. I do like the blue, but I just prefer black. I don't know what it is. I actually like the dial in blue, but I don't like the bezel insert, which there may be mods for that, but that's not something I'm too into. I like watches as they come from the manufacturer. So enough of that. Let's get into the pros. First is just the overall design. It's not cookie cutter. It's similar to the automatic Promaster diver, the entry level automatic, with the crown is on the other hand or on the other side at the that'd be 8 o'clock. It's just a different design. They don't put ridges around the whole bezel, which actually it works. It works great still. You can still grab it. It's nice and easy, and it's just a little bit different design. They made the bezel and the case flush, which when it sometimes I look at it and go, boy, that's a really clever design. You're never, it's smooth, so it's never getting caught on things. Some divers, the bezel overhangs a little bit. You get debris and things in the bezel, and I actually like the clean edge of that. It's nice and uniform, but sometimes I prefer it how diver bezels usually are. So that's a personal preference, but I do like that it's different. They didn't copy Seiko or the Submariner design. They just they kind of have their own formula when it comes to dive watches. The next is just the overall quality of this watch. I was pretty blown away when I got this. The case finishing, the brushing is it's really, and keep in mind this watch has had some pretty rough abuse by myself. I wear this to work quite a bit, and I do not take it off for anything. It's been scraped, banged, scratched, the whole 9 yards, and it's taken it very well. And look at the brushing on it. It's very nice. It's very smooth. There's no sharp edges. Even the transition to the back. I've seen watches that are $400 or $500 that don't have this nice overall quality to the finishing and just the case quality. So Citizen, they should be proud of that. And I've heard that before, that Citizen really do put a lot of time and effort into their just their overall case quality, and I can see that now, and that to me is very impressive. Very nice case back, just a laser etched, very cleanly laser etched logo though. They have lots of information. You can see Citizen Watch Company, divers 200 meters, Japan movement, anti-magnetic movement. It's the movement reference, stainless steel. Do not open, service center repair only. I think that has to do with the fact that since you don't need to change the battery in this, I believe if you do have to service this, there may be something with a capacitor or something like that that needs to be changed. honestly, at a watch at this price point, you're probably just going to buy a different watch. But you never know. So that might be something that 20 years from now, and if they don't make this watch anymore, that you might want to look at. But back at the case quality. Just look at how most watches don't do this. They look at the transition underneath. There's still an edge here that goes up along the lug, and I was really impressed with how well the case was finished on this watch. It really is something to, I wouldn't say something to behold, that'd be a little dramatic, but it's very nice. I was impressed. Anyway, I'm rambling. The bezel, I've already talked about the bezel design. I really like the bezel design. Nice deep serrations in there, only in certain spots. It doesn't cover the whole thing. I like that. I think it's something different. And I've already said the Lume color I really like. The hand designs I love. I love big fat diver hands. I like the pointer, but it's not huge. It's not like the Seiko Monster comedy hands that are just huge and they look out of place. These are really nice. Really nice. I really like the orange minute hand, the shape of the minute and hour hand. The finishing on the hands is very nice, very well done. It is a printed dial. I don't think those indices are applied, but I could be wrong. They do stick up a little bit, but nonetheless, a very nice dial, very good quality, very good alignment on the chapter ring. Seiko, take note. Everything's just very well done. So I'm very impressed with Citizen. It really kind of opened my eyes to the quality that you get with Citizen. Yeah, I know they don't put automatic movements on a lot of their watches, but I think the rest of the features and the fact that it's Eco Drive, I think that really offsets that. So before I leave, I'll give you some dimensions with my calipers. Let's see if my batteries are dead. No, they're not. They're even zeroed out. Look at that. You can tell I came prepared. Not really. I think this watch is around 44 millimeters. Just a hair under. But yeah, 44 millimeters basically. It wears about like that. I'll put it on in a second. The lug to lug's not too bad. It doesn't have a very long lug to lug. There you go, about 49 lug to lug. It's very nice, very easy to wear watch. 20 millimeter lug width. So you can put a lot of straps on this. I'll put it on for you quick. This is a oh boy, I forgot the name. The Italian rubber straps. They're very nice. This one has the textured underside, which I really like. And it smells like vanilla, which is nice as well. And I went for orange. I kind of went kind of not typically a color combination I would go for, but it looks nice. All right. And then this one has the fancy, you don't have to have a bunch of holes in it. Kind of looks cool. As I struggle to put this on because I'm on camera. There we go. Rubber straps are never fun or easy or elegant to put on. They're always kind of a little tricky. But here you go. I've got about a 7 1/4. Yeah, 7 1/4 inch wrist, maybe 7 1/2. And it wears very nicely. This is a very, very easy to wear watch. It's not big. It's not flashy. It's just a very nice size. It wears nice because of the short lugs. Lugs do curve down a little bit, but it's very easy watch to wear. So don't worry about the size. It's a great size for a dive watch. I think most people will enjoy it. So all right, this is getting on about 20 minutes now, which is pretty long to listen to me ramble on about a watch. But this is the Citizen Promaster Eco Drive. I would highly recommend it. I think I might try the automatic version, see if I like that. So sometimes I get a little, I don't like the crown over there. That messes with me. It bugs me a little bit. So I'll try that, see if I like it. But yeah, highly recommend this watch.